Hello everyone and welcome to the Very Reasonable Pilots podcast. I'm your host, Charles. Along with me as always is my co-host, editor, producer, co-pilot, navigator, and gunner, Jacob Gloth. How are you doing today, Jacoby?
I am swell, Charles. A cat almost just tried to steal some of my drinks. That was a shame, but I saved it in time, so we're okay.
The cat,
we're fine.
She's not going to do anything. She doesn't know.
Who knows?
She doesn't even know what a television pilot is.
That's true. Charlie, I think we might have to jump off here by addressing the controversy.
Oh, the controversy?
Yeah, that, breaking news. The podcast was late this week.
We were late for the first time. Is this the first
That's
time?
not true. We were late one other time before, on just YouTube and not the...
Yeah. But, fully, we just didn't record it and upload it. Yeah.
Well, that's because it was, Christmas.
It was Christmas time.
Some of us had to, cook and stuff.
Some of us had to cook and get their power out and all sorts of fun Christmas activities.
Yeah, that was, I had power out for an entire day.
Yeah.
And then when it came back, I had to spend the rest of the day cooking because we had to make all this crap for Christmas. But it's Christmas.
It's Christmas. That's
so
what you
gotta
do.
Make the stuff.
That's what you do. Except for me. I went and saw Wakanda Forever. Black Panther's Wakanda Forever.
Is that what you did when we were supposed to record? You saw Wakanda Forever?
No, I did that on Christmas Day. I went and I saw Wakanda Forever.
Movies.
When
we started this podcast,
60
a lot
years
of times
ago.
60 years ago. A lot of times when I did pitches, I would do a show that I liked or something like that. I would see a show and I'd be like, all right, I want to do that, but different.
Yeah.
But recently, I feel like all my pitches have been
this was shit.
This is shit. Let's do it better. I think I talked to you about this, but not to the audience. The movie Amsterdam.
Yeah, you don't like Amsterdam.
It's terrible. Terrible movie. So I thought, let me just name a show after a European city.
Wait, that's a real European city?
Salzburg? Yeah.
Huh.
It's where Sound of Music happened.
I don't know. I don't know.
Mozart was born there. Mozart may be related to this pitch.
I don't know who that is.
Yep, Charlie doesn't know who Motzart is. Essentially, I just picked... So the show is called Salzburg because Amsterdam is called Amsterdam.
Yeah.
And this is how Amsterdam should have been. But even though it's not related at all to Amsterdam, besides the fact that it's the same time period and it's also a European city.
Yeah, and
that they don't spend most of the show in.
And we have Christian Bale in it.
Yeah, Christian Bale plays Dr. Diggs.
Dr. Diggs, is that an actual character?
Mm-hmm.
I thought he was going to play Mozart.
Dr. Diggs. Yep, he plays Dr. Mozart isn't in this. This is set in the 1920s. It's, I'm reading now. It's a world of murder, robbery, and confusion. Erupts after the discovery and theft of the original drafts of Mozart's 41st Symphony, which is called Jupiter.
Jupiter, the god of gods in Roman mythology.
That's true.
Yeah.
Oh my god, this
the
cat is all over me.
There's a cat currently just getting all up in Jake's business.
He is. Anyway.
She is.
This setting, 1920s, post-World War I Europe.
Oh.
Who are we following, Charlie?
Dr. Reynold Diggs.
I didn't think that you could actually just read off the sheet. We're recording in person, and I forgot that you could just read off the sheet. Dr. Reynold Diggs. That's our Christian Bale character. He's a famous English music archaeologist.
What?
Archaeologist for music. They're trying to find music stuff.
Like instruments and sheet music that's been lost to time?
Mm-hmm. They're trying to find old instruments,
Yeah. Is that still a current day profession?
I don't think so. I don't know if it ever was. I just made it up for this.
Oh, okay. It sounds like a profession that they had in the 20s.
Music archaeologist, yeah.
Egyptologist or mummy finder or whatever.
Yeah, back in the old days where you could just pick a profession
and do it,
and it'd be super specific, and you'd do it for your whole life.
Yeah,
and you'd make money,
and you'd have no schooling whatsoever, no need for it. You just do it.
Yep, Dr. Diggs, no schooling.
No.
Dr. Diggs, no schooling.
Yeah.
Anyway, Dr. Reynold Diggs, famous English dude, bullied. He's got a little bit of a chip on his shoulder because he's bullied for picking music archaeology. He's kind of a nerd about it, and he feels a need to justify his profession. Mm-hmm. And so he's a total nerd, but he was a little bit toughened up by the war.
Yeah.
He's a guy that, World War I broke out, right?
Mm-hmm.
The English got involved. He joined up right away, volunteered. He didn't get drafted. First battle, he gets shot. He's out for the war.
Oh.
So it's he was a little toughened up because he went through
basic
training
and stuff.
He was in a battle, but he was in one battle and got shot.
He got shot like where? In the face?
In the foot.
How are you gonna get out of the war for the whole war if you're shot?
He got shot in the foot. What do you mean? How do you get out of the war? He got shot in the foot. Now he's a limp. And so
Does
like
it just a limp?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I was hoping he had was missing the foot.
But he's like he's a doctor, so he's a little bit upper class.
Mm-hmm.
So they just put him after he got shot in the foot. They put him on paper duty, So he spent the rest of the war
pushing papers,
writing reports and stuff.
Yeah.
But he was a little tough. So he's not terrible, but he's not tough. He's not super tough.
For a second I thought it was World War II, and I was like, maybe he could stop the Nazis from stealing musical instruments. But it was like, no, that's World War I.
Now, in the movie Amsterdam,
yes,
there is a character like Diggs who's a doctor.
Uh-huh.
And his best friend is a soldier he met in the war, who they made a pact to protect each other, and then they both got shot, and they're in the hospital holding each other's arms. It's supposed to be dramatic and a thing of friendship, but the dialogue is we're friends now, we're together now because of this.
It makes me feel like that. I know this isn't what happened in the film, but it to me it sounds like they both get shot in the arm. And then we cut to the hospital scene, and they're both on a double gurney, a gurney that's for two people, and they're holding their arms together, bullet wounds touching, and they're we're friends now.
We're friends now.
All our blood's in our blood.
That's basically what it is. And then his best friend is in our show, going back again. Diggs' his best friend. His name's Mix. Mix is short for Mixon. It's the last name.
Mixon? Is that a real last name? It sounds...
Yeah, it's a famous football player named Joe Mixon.
Okay, is he mixing up the plays?
People make jokes like that, but yeah, he's a running back. Anyway, this is a black American soldier who stayed in Europe after the war.
Okay.
He got shot by the same bullet as Diggs.
Oh.
Except it was like a collateral, except it was through their bodies. Except Mix did not get any long-standing injuries, and Diggs has a limp for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
So they feel like they've been bonded by that. Plus, they were serving together, and they ended up pushing papers together afterwards in the office. Mm-hmm. Maybe we can have some flashbacks of some office antics. I don't know.
Office antics. It's just them silently using a copier, like a 1980s copier.
So they're friends now, Mix and Diggs.
Mix and Diggs.
Mix and Diggs. It sounds nice, actually.
It sounds kind of like a snack,
Mix and Diggs. Yeah. It sounds like there would be some Chex Mix in there. Maybe some little pretzels.
Yeah, and then there's some Diggs.
And some Mix.
Yeah, some Christian Bales.
Christian Bales. And who's
Mix being played by?
Let's make it John David Washington, because he was also in Amsterdam.
Yeah.
Just gonna cast everyone that was in Amsterdam.
Yeah. Oh, I can't wait to find out who Taylor Swift is playing.
Okay. So they got shot by the same bullet. Mix, he's got a nice sense of humor. He used to be a boxer, so he's tough, and he still wears his uniform even though the war's over.
Okay. His American military uniform.
Yep.
All right.
Because it gives him a sense of authority, and he makes him feel like he belongs. Next character. We haven't even started the show yet. We're just getting through characters. Vienna. Vienna is an Australian official who has a real name, but no one cares. So they just call him Vienna because he's from Vienna.
Vienna. All right.
He's an Australian, not Australian.
No, Australian.
Austrian official who's after the symphony because Motzart was Austrian, and therefore the symphony should belong to Austria. We're getting some sort of Indiana Jones energy here, where everyone's after it. This Jones energy belongs in a museum, an Austrian museum. No, it's the British Museum because I found it. Or, that kind of thing.
I feel like I would like Indiana Jones movies even more if they weren't always about crazy magic artifacts. If it was just about Indiana Jones chasing a symphony, I think that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, I like that too. The first part of the first movie.
Yeah.
Where he's in that cave and he just finds that idol thing.
Yeah, big gold thing. And that's cool. And then he's gonna find a dial of destiny.
Yeah, maybe it'll make him younger.
I have $5 on the dial of destiny being a cell phone from the future that's fallen through a time warp.
$5? I'll take that bet.
No, I'm gonna lose
you already said it.
Shit.
I have proof now, too.
Yeah, you do. Oh, God.
Next character, Melody Moulin, self-obsessed French heiress who wants it to display like the symphony in her third chateau's guest house.
Oh,
she's uptight and has plenty of money.
She didn't even care about it.
She doesn't even care about it. She just wants it. So, Melody Moulin, rich person. Art Russo. We got a lot of characters here.
Is Melody being played by Taylor Swift?
She can be played by Taylor Swift.
Okay, great. Taylor Swift's a bad actress.
And this next character can be Margot Robbie.
Yes.
This is where this movie or / TV show, it's a TV show, so not movie.
Yeah.
This TV show will be where Margot Robbie finally is a leading lady in a piece of media and it doesn't fail.
Yeah, goddamn.
Mm-hmm.
And she really hasn't been in anything. Like, she's never
Everything
been...
this year has failed.
Yeah.
Babylon just came out.
People aren't liking it, are they?
No. Well, I think it got $3 million in its first weekend, and it cost $80 million to make. So not doing hot, even though it looks kind of cool.
Yeah, I feel like it's a cool movie.
Yeah.
It looks cool.
The idea of it looks cool. I haven't heard great reviews, but I mean, I saw Amsterdam, and she was the only redeemable part about that movie.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, they shouldn't have released it right next to Avatar: The Way of Water.
Huge mistake.
That movie's gonna make $2 billion, and they're gonna be our new
What
gods.
Christmas movie are you gonna go see? The 3-hour Avatar action adventure movie, or the 3-hour Hollywood drama? Do I guess?
Yeah, Brad Pitt's there. Tobey Maguire's there. He's got nasty teeth.
Oh my god, we might see Spider-Man.
We might see Spider-Man. Might do a big flip and then punch Brad Pitt in the head.
Yep. Guarantee all that movie's revenue came from the Los Angeles area.
Mm-hmm.
People seeing the movie that live in Los Angeles.
Yeah. Oh no, 100%.
The rest of America's like, Avatar? Yeah, we're gonna go see Avatar.
I feel like, every 2 years or so, there's movies that are made specifically for LA.
Every year. Fableman's, I mean, all these movies. Anyway, next character, Art Russo.
Yeah.
Margot Robbie's playing her. Former New York mobster's daughter.
Mm-hmm.
That's who she is. Turned nurse, turned college grad, turned art thief. So, she became a nurse when the war broke out.
Yeah.
After the war, somehow, she had money, so she went to college in Europe after the war. She was in Europe because of the war.
Maybe she studied archaeology, something like, I don't know, artistic archaeology.
She probably studied business or something like that.
Portrait archaeology.
Portrait archaeology.
Yeah.
We could say that she. We could make it business or some sort of, what's the art appreciation, or what is it called? Art something? Art history. There we go.
History, yeah.
Art history. Maybe she studied art history because after she graduates college, she becomes an art thief.
Yeah. She's stealing all sorts of crazy important paintings, and maybe, she's working with some mysterious Germans.
No, she's. No. Well, I already have it revealed ready.
Okay. Fair enough.
So she's an art thief. Her only rule is that she never backs down from a deal, much like Lobo from DC Comics. And that's because her dad was killed in New York after a mobster shot him during a hostage exchange because he broke the deal. And so she's deal. And her dad's last words were never break a deal or something like that. Deal or no deal.
Deal or no deal.
Yeah.
Deals are life. I don't know. Every beat of a heart's a deal,
Life
mate.
is a deal. No.
The second you break a deal, life that breaks that deal with you, something like that. He makes it about life. Life is a series of broken deals.
Life is a deal.
Life's a deal. And
you gotta see what you're dealt. I don't know. Anyway.
And I'm the greatest deal maker. It's me.
Art Russo.
Donald Trump. Art of the deal.
Oh my god.
That's
Art Russo, Margot Robbie. We're moving on. Next character. I know we got a lot of characters here. It's confusing.
Yeah.
It'll get more clear as we get on. Dr. Jan Weber, German music archaeologist and rival of Diggs, who wants the symphony for the Weimar Republic, which exists now because
World War I happened.
World War I happened and World War II hasn't happened.
Yeah, that magical time before World War II, but after World War I. Where it wasn't World War I, it was just the war.
It was just post-war world.
Yeah.
So Dr. Jan Weber, he's Diggs' rival, and he's very similar to Diggs, except he's German, essentially.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
He's a big nerd.
So when you look at these two characters, they're the same person kinda, except Dr. Jan Weber is a little bit more confident and a little bit more sure of himself.
Yeah.
While
the
Diggs
accent
isn't.
helps.
Mm-hmm.
The accent will make him more confident.
Mm-hmm. German accent. You sound really confident. Is the word I'd use.
It was before it was evil.
It was before he was evil.
Yeah, it was before a German accent was always associated with evil.
Yep.
It's just...
Yep.
Yup.
Then we have Francesco Amato, who's a rough-faced Italian soldier with a missing tongue. So he's essentially Mixon's opposite.
Yeah.
But unlike Mixon, who's like kind of funny and sociable,
This guy's...
doesn't have a tongue.
He's a real
Can't
sour prick.
He is, yeah.
Can he eat? Like, does he enjoy food if he can't taste it because he doesn't have a tongue? I wonder.
I don't know. Let's cut out your tongue.
Ask him.
We can tell.
You
No.
should ask him.
No,
I don't
cut out
want
your
to... I
tongue.
like my tongue.
Okay.
It's my third best feature.
I think you got some taste buds on the roof of your mouth, maybe.
Yeah, you got taste buds other
Like a
places,
couple,
but
but it's mostly in
most...
your tongue.
Yeah, it's mostly in your tongue. It's like how you have, like, you know, a tiny, tiny number of taste buds in your asshole.
I was afraid you'd say that. Anyway.
I could see it in your eyes.
I knew
You're like,
what
he's going to say that.
Yeah. So Francesco, joined the Germans in World War I because he thought the Italians should have stuck with the alliance. So if you don't know, in World War I, right before the war, the Italians had an alliance with Germany, but they broke it before the war broke out. And so Francesco was like, I'm going to honor the alliance. So he
Wow.
joined the war, and then he got his tongue shut off.
And these are... that's interesting. You've got two characters that are very cross about breaking deals. So
Yeah.
that might be the theme of the show.
It's about deals. The show is called Deal or No Deal. It's no longer called Salzburg.
We're going to get a whole bunch of attractive ladies with briefcases.
Yep, we'll get Meghan Markle. She used to do that, right?
Did she? I have no idea.
I think I read that somewhere. Anyway.
Well, if she didn't, we're going to hire her to host it.
Host the show, yeah.
Host the show, and all these women with attractive briefcases will beat you if you get the
We
wrong
got Howie
answer.
Mandel, I think.
He's-
That's the guy that's Deal or No Deal, right?
Yeah, I think so. He's going to get beaten with these suitcases.
Yep, that's the show. That's all it is. Scratch everything else. Scratch the
Yeah.
characters. All right, I'm gonna get into the pilot. I know you're confused about the characters, Charlie.
No,
but-
I'm not confused. I know all
All right,
these
name,
characters.
name all their names then.
Diggs, Mix, Russo. Isn't one of them Russo? It's Margot Robbie. It's her name's
Art
something-
Russo, yeah.
Art Russo, yeah. Shit. No, because I know all these characters.
All right. Anyway, the show is gonna begin. Pilot episode 1.
That's a lot of names.
Diggs and Mix. Yeah, I know. It's gonna be clear as we get along here. It's not a sitcom, you know. It's not like you gotta remember Ross, Rachel, Monica, Chandler, and Joey. you
Yeah,
know?
that was good.
Yeah. So
That's
you know,
all.
it's not a sitcom where there are all these characters on the screen at once. You know.
Yeah.
You don't even need to remember these names. The plot is what's interesting. It's not the characters. Well, I mean, the characters are interesting too.
I hope
Lots.
the characters are interesting. I find them interesting. The guy has no tongue. It's
Mhm.
pretty interesting.
That's the best part. So, yep, Diggs and Mix, the show begins. Dr. Diggs and Mix arrive by train in Salzburg as part of Diggs' research into finding Mozart's symphony.
Mm-hmm.
At the station, they are met by Melody Molin. Melody Molin, the heiress. She's their sponsor who's founding their research to find this symphony so that
Yeah.
she can put it in her collection on the condition that she loans it out every 4 years and sells it to the museum upon death.
Okay.
So that's why Diggs is doing it, because he wants to find it to justify his profession, and also because he knows that it's going to be good for like the world, because everyone can study it every 4 years.
Yeah, and everybody gets a look, and she's not, you know, it's not going to be given down to her shitty, you know, grandson or whatever.
Yeah, she has to sell it on death.
Yeah, so it's, you know, not a family heirloom.
Mm-hmm. But you know, she still owns it for her life, so
Yeah.
she still gets something out of it. So they go to their new quarters and they settle in nicely until they arrive at the dig site. They find they share with Dr. Jan Weber and Francesco Amato.
Diggs
So,
at the dig site.
They're already there and they have to split it. Like they're talking to like
Oh,
the local
no.
officials, and they're like, no, you both have permits for this. You
Yeah.
both have ownership of the land. We're just gonna allow you both to dig. And they're like, this sucks. Blah, blah, blah. The two sides are like butting heads.
Somebody gets a paint can, paints a big line down the middle of the dig
Yeah,
site.
yeah, essentially, yeah.
And then, of course, you know, as is tradition in television, whatever they're looking for will be buried exactly, you know, halfway between each.
In the middle of the
Yeah.
line, yeah.
Exactly, because that's how it works.
That's how it works. So, the two sides, they butt heads. But Diggs and Weber, they're amicable for now, and They kind of get talked down by their kind Austrian landlady Marie. So Marie has lived in Salzburg all of her life.
Mm-hmm.
She's older, probably like 60s, 70s.
Yeah.
She owns the property that they're living on for now, like the hotel or whatever it is. Like hostel, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
She's there.
She's got a nice inn.
She's kind of like, whatever the hell the lady's name is in Sherlock Holmes, like his landlady.
Oh.
Don't remember her name.
Some old lady.
You know, like a nice old lady. She like very helpful.
Yeah, she's
kind of snarky and sassy.
She's Alfred.
No, but not like Alfred in the sense that she's doing stuff for him. Like she owns the place. They're paying rent.
Yeah, but she's, you know, if he's dying on the street, she'll pull him in, sew him up.
Yeah.
Give him a stern talking to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She's a cool character.
Cool lady.
Back at the train station, Art Russo. She hops off the train with a sack and a scowl. She meets with local soldiers and reminisces about the war, you know, like people that she used to patch up. She's talking.
I bet there's a big sultry, you know, saxophone riff when she steps off, like, as she steps out, and, you know, it's Margot Robbie, so she takes, you know, a big sexy step with the big long legs, you know, and then
got a big trench coat.
Yeah, and then she throws on the trench coat and holds a bag over her back and starts walking like Rambo. Mm-hmm. She's just wandering through the streets.
Yeah, she's a badass character. So.
Yeah.
She's, you know, she meets with the soldiers. They're talking, drinking, having a nice time.
Mm-hmm.
She's asking about the dig site to the guys and like trying to figure out what's going on, what the situation is, who's there, what's going on.
What are these
Have
guys?
they found it yet?
Yeah.
And you're like, I don't know. They just got there. You know, it's some German doctor and some British doctor. They've been going at it all day.
Like a couple of assholes.
Couple of assholes. And so she goes out to the bathroom, which is like, you know, outside, because whatever,
It's
outhouse.
1920.
Yeah. Or maybe she goes out for a smoke. I need some reason for her to go outside.
Yeah, she goes
out
outside.
for a smoke, we'll say, because that makes more sense.
She's not, and it's also kind of, you know, undignified for Margot Robbie to be squatting over a hole someone dug.
We'll have her go out for a smoke then.
Yeah.
So she goes out for a smoke, and as she's smoking her cigarette or trying to light it, maybe it can be in the dark, really dark outside. She's flicking the cigarette light, and as she flicks the first time, nothing's there behind her. She's just flicking her cigarette. And as she finally lights the cigarette, someone's behind her with a wire, and they wrap it around her neck and try to choke her out. We have a nice, intense fight scene where they're fighting back and forth.
Oh, how about this? Because in the 20s, they didn't have, like, lighters that we have now.
Mm-hmm.
They were all really weird and bulky and, like, had, like, a bunch of cool designs on them.
Yeah.
So you get one that makes it look like a dragon's breathing the flame or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But she's, like, lighting it, and it's, like, this big, bulky thing. And just as she lights it and there's her cigarette, we see the wire go around. And it would go around her neck, except the, you know, big, bulky...
Lighters in the way.
So it catches it, and she's able to pull it off.
Pull them off, yeah. And so they fight. She takes out the dude.
Mm-hmm.
Next day. Like, you know, she's panting and like, what the hell happened at this? But, you know, we cut to the next scene. Cause we're not going to get more into that.
Yeah, she goes back inside and drinks more, whatever.
Mm-hmm. But it probably ends with her being like, what the hell happened? Like, what was that? Next day, Diggs and Mix are digging. We can pass several days in a montage. As you know, they're having fun, just fighting the other guy. Not fighting physically, like fighting as they're, you know, both digging at the same time. Yeah, they're both
digging. One, like, they throw dirt from their side into the other side. You know, they, like, put paint or something on the handles of the tools, so they have big paint on their hands. You know, just pranks. Like, good old-fashioned
going
pranks.
at each other.
Yeah.
Clearly don't like each other. So Diggs finds, so they're digging, past the montage, woo, all the fun stuff. And Diggs finds a muddy manuscript.
Ooh.
And he pulls it out and he opens it and there's pages. And he's like, there's like pages of a symphony. And he yells to Mix that he found it. And the Mix is like, oh my god, this is incredible. He's like, yeah, I think this is it. I have to clean it up and everything, but once we get back to the hotel, we can drink and we can do this in the morning. It'll be amazing. Like, once we have more light, because it's dark outside or whatever right now. And excitement, they bring it back to their hotel. They lock it up in a safe in the room, and they're like, "This will be okay."
Yeah.
They tell Marie that they've got something important, and she's like, "Yeah, I'll make sure no one gets in."
Mm-hmm.
And they go to the bar and they start drinking. They call Melody on their way to the bar, and they're like, maybe they stop by like a
Yep.
telephone pole,
Yeah, however
phone
they
box.
did it.
You know how they do it in the 1920s.
I think they just used smoke signals.
They did, yes. So they call Melody, who's very happy, and she's like, "Oh, I'll be right over
Yeah.
in 2 days to come see it."
Mm-hmm.
So they're out. They go out drinking, and they're hanging out with Art, who's at the bar, and they're drunkenly hanging out with Art.
Yeah.
Because she's fun, you know. She's like the life of the party at this bar
She's
they went
cool.
to. Everyone knows her.
Yeah.
And she like comes and seeks them out, and they're like, "Oh, we're getting attention from like the life of the party."
Yeah.
Plus, it's Margot Robbie.
It's
so they're
Margot
also
Robbie.
excited.
You're gonna be
'Cause it's Margot
excited.
Robbie.
Does she look frazzled? Like she just got an attempt on
No,
life?
she looks composed and happy. It's you know,
It's a day later.
Art Russo. She's a very like always like even after she just got choked out by that dude.
Yeah.
She went in right afterwards and probably kept drinking.
All right.
You know, she's a tough gal.
Tough
She's
cookie.
seen a lot from the war. You know,
Yeah.
pulling metal out of people's bodies.
Mm-hmm.
So she can handle a scrap and get on with her life. And so they drunkenly tell her that they discovered the symphony.
Yeah. Found this.
And she's like, oh, okay. And discreetly, you know, as they're partying, we get like a nice montage of them drinking and happy. She disappears.
Yeah.
Like at some point in the montage, she's there, and then we'll get like 3 cuts in the montage where she's gone. And maybe we'll see her go out the back door or something. And they're having fun, you know, we get this nice cool, like they're playing bar games, they're shooting pool or something.
Do that game that they do where they have a card on their forehead like in an Inglorious Bastards?
Yeah, they're playing that game,
Yeah.
really drunk, having fun. Maybe as Margot Robbie leaves, I'm not even calling her by the character name.
Yeah,
I'm just saying
no.
Margot Robbie.
Art. Whatever.
As she leaves, maybe she like talk to some of her soldier buddies and like make sure they stay a long while. Like,
Yeah.
like have some fun with them. So they're hanging out with these soldiers
Mhm.
now, and they're enjoying the night. When we get back to the hotel, Maria's dead, the symphony is gone, and in the room is Art Russo with bloody hands.
Oh, no.
Mix tries to run after her, but she leaps out the window.
But did she do
End of
it? Did
episode
did our favorite character Margot Robbie kill
Did
this
she kill
woman?
someone? Yep.
Kill a nice
So Margot
old
Robbie
lady?
jumps out the window. Mix runs out to chase her for a second, like looks out the window, but she's like almost already gone, and that's how the episode ends. Boom.
Damn.
Episode 1.
How's she getting away? She running? She
You gotta
going
watch episode 2 to find out.
She
Charles.
going over rooftops like Catwoman?
Yep.
Okay.
No, she's running across the street.
Okay.
She like leaps. She jumps out the window and like climbs down like vines or something.
Okay. What's her burglary outfit? You know, I'm assuming she's not wearing the big trench coat that she was wearing at the bar. She's
I
wearing
don't-
like
She's wearing
slick leather combat boots and
probably like something pretty similar to a military uniform, I guess.
Okay.
I don't know what the attire would be for burglaries in the 1920s.
in the 1920s. Women.
Trench coat's probably it, to be honest.
No, maybe. Yeah.
Trench coat might be it in the 1920s.
Good. She could be like a cape.
No, she's not. I mean, the trench coat would be like
Yeah.
a cape.
And she's jumping down. It's like big.
You know, goes out.
Yeah.
Episode 2.
Dun, dun,
Diggs vomits at the sight of Marie dead. They're like sad about that, right?
Mm-hmm.
They rush downstairs to try to catch Art, but she's already gone, and they run into Vienna. Vienna, if you remember, he's the Austrian official who, at this point, he will try to identify himself,
Mm-hmm.
but they won't hear it for like the sound of a car might go by or something like that. I don't want us to hear his name.
No. of
Maybe
course
people
not.
that like can analyze the footage after the show comes out, they can be like, oh, they actually
He
said,
said
you know,
Archibald.
Archibald was his name.
Yeah, but that's lame.
But no one
Vienna.
cares. Vienna is what they call him.
Yeah.
So he demands to know where the symphony is, because he intercepted their phone call to Melody Moulin, their benefactor.
Oh.
And so he knows about it. He knows that they found it, and he demands it be given Austria, because Austria made Motzart, so they should have everything he made.
Man, you Austrians need to take a chill pill, you know?
You know, they just lost their empire, so they're kind of...
I'm just
They're
saying.
trying to, like, you know, salvage whatever they can of their identity.
An angry Austrian never ends well. That's what he should say. I don't like angry Austrians.
Maybe we'd be really subtle about it, yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be a funny joke. I hate angry Austrians. You know, I've been to art school. They're freaking
Yeah,
crazy.
freaking
there.
God, I hate Austrian artists, especially ones who live in Germany.
Yep. Anyway,
And Adolf Hitler.
they're before that.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
We're not gonna be one of those shows where they toss him in.
Mm-hmm.
Where he's like, "That's Adolf Hitler." Oh my God. Whoa,
Oh my
he's
God,
bad.
it's
I hate
Hitler.
that guy.
He's back.
I never liked that guy.
Yeah.
They'll say no.
This isn't the Adventures of Ivan Illich.
No, this isn't the movie Amsterdam either.
He's in that?
No, well, I mean, they're Nazis in that movie.
Yeah, there are.
Anyway, so they tell him the truth, but are thrown in jail because Vienna doesn't believe him. And Art, we cut to Art, and she's running. Margot Robbie's, like her hands are bloody. She's confused. She gets to a phone. We don't hear the person on the other side of the phone, but she tells him the symphony's gone, and some freak murdered the housekeeper. So it's, it's clear from. Maybe she's lying to the person on the phone, but it sounds like she didn't kill the housekeeper.
Yeah, and she got this job. It wasn't a coincidence that she bumped into these guys. She got this job.
Someone knew about this and sent it to her. And
Yeah.
was like, you gotta do this. Anyway, Frank and Weber, they are back in their room in the hotel,
Yeah.
sleeping through all this.
Yeah.
They get up the next day, they don't see Marie. They're like, I don't know where she is. So they get ready to go back to the dig site. So Dr. Weber and Frank, our German and our Italian, are going to the dig site. They're like, oh, I don't know where Diggs and Mix are.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Weird.
Oh, I guess we'll get a head start on the day.
There you go.
So they start digging, and then Vienna shows up, the Austrian officials, and they arrest them for stealing the symphony.
No.
Because Diggs and Mix are like, I don't know where it is, and they're like, who else could have it? And they're like, maybe Frank and Weber took it.
Yeah.
And so they get arrested too.
Maybe it's like the last, because this seems like it's the end of episode 2. In the last 5 to 10 minutes of the episode, it could be like a morning montage of them, Frank and Weber, and we just see their domestic life, and it's really wholesome.
Yeah.
It's like they're brushing their teeth together, and then he splashes them with water, and then he splashes the end. It's just then they play around, and then they have a nice romantic lunch, and then they go to the dig site.
Just hanging out, yeah. Having a nice time.
And then it's like, oh, hi, sirs, how can I help you? As the Austrian officials walk up,
yeah.
and then cut to black, then cut to them in jail cell.
They get beds right next to Diggs and Mix.
It's like a wall is, separating them.
Yeah.
But their beds are just hanging, on the walls.
We get a nice shot of both sides.
Yeah, and they're like...
So they're all in jail, somewhat together.
Yeah.
Episode 3.
Yeah.
Art investigates the crime scene where Marie died. By herself at night, when everyone's gone. And she finds a coat with half a ticket to Munich and a bill from a hotel there.
Ooh.
So she's like, clearly, whoever came in and did this, they were sloppy, messy, and they left a coat behind.
And they came from Munich.
They came from Munich, and they're at a hotel there. And I know where, I gotta find out this lead, right?
Got an address. Maybe she's ducking the cops.
Yeah, well, yeah, she's trying to hide from the cops because they have a description of her, but they don't know. Maybe at this point she's dyed her hair.
Just the most
So Margot
beautiful...
Robbie beforehand will say she had blonde hair, but now she has black hair.
Yeah, black hair. I think black hair would suit her.
Or dark brown or whatever. I don't know.
Dark brown would be the most, plain.
Whatever dye, it doesn't matter. Anyway, so then we cut to Diggs and Mix, and Weber and Frank, and the rest of the episode is them breaking out of jail. Whatever cockeyed scheme they come up with.
Four idiots
come up with, messing with Vienna and trying to get the keys.
Which one doesn't have a tongue?
Frank. Francesco Amato.
Yeah,
Frank
okay.
for short.
Maybe Frank is secretly he's a really well-versed chemist.
Yeah.
And so they spend the whole episode trying to he's trying to explain to them, I need 6 pieces of whatever from the commissary and another piece of something or other from the plumbing.
Yeah.
And then I can make a homemade bomb and bust our way out of here.
Yeah, we could say Frank, he was special forces in the Italian military.
I would like
before
Frank
he switched to Germany, and so he did a lot of homemade bombs and kind of stuff.
I would like to think Frank is extraordinarily skilled, and he's just paired himself with
this guy who's clearly not as skilled, but they're friends.
Yeah, and then just by coincidence, he's stuck with these 2 idiots.
Mm-hmm. Well, Mix is also I want Mix and Frank to be sort of comparatively similar. Mm-hmm. So maybe Frank has got some more he's got the special forces skills, but Mix, he's the boxer, you know?
Yeah.
If they go on head-to-head, just hands, Mix is going to beat the shit out of him.
And Mix is also a much better conversationalist.
Yeah, he's also sociable and charismatic. So
Yeah.
they got different ways of getting through situations.
Yeah.
So, Jailbreak, that's episode 3, mostly.
Woo.
Episode 4, episode 3 is going to end with them getting out of jail and, like, running onto a train. Where episode 4 is going to start where they get on the train at the same time as Art gets on the train.
Oh,
and they see Art, and the whole episode is going to be, or most of the episode,
her.
they're trying to get Art on the train. And so it's going to start off with, like, them, Weber and Frank and Diggs and Mix all working together to try to get Art. Because Diggs and Mix are like, hey, that's the lady that killed Marie and stole the symphony.
Yeah.
And Frank and Weber are like, yeah, we'll help you get her. And, it doesn't matter. At that moment, they're not thinking about who gets this symphony. They're just thinking, like, we got to get it.
Yeah.
But they catch Art after, some crazy antics on the train. And then Frank and Weber turn on Mix and Diggs because they want the symphony.
Yeah.
Right? So then it starts a fight between the unsteady alliance, which allows Art to slip away. But as she does, Mix, grabs her coat and, rips a chunk off. And in the pocket, he has the hotel receipt. So he knows where to go now.
Yeah, maybe he grabs her. Sorry, my cat's acting up. Maybe he grabs her by the pocket.
Yeah.
And tears it off as she's getting away, and so it all falls to the ground. She looks and then runs away.
But she remembers where it is.
Yeah,
so she's
knows.
not losing any information, but they have it now too.
Yeah, they have it, and so she's like, I have to keep her, keep on my tail. Maybe I have to dye my hair again. Redhead.
Well, the police don't know. They know.
Yeah, but they know.
They would be able to see her face and recognize her.
Redhead.
We'd have Margot Robbie change her hair color 8 times in the show.
I think that would be pretty funny.
Anyway, so they end up in Munich, and they know there's, they have to go to this hotel. And at the hotel, there's a massive ball. This is going to be a fun episode, because we start with the train thing, and now we're going to a ball.
Yeah.
So they have to find the room, but they're, sort of navigating through this ball, and also, kind of discreetly fight each other.
Yeah.
So we got, everyone's there, because Diggs and Mix, they have the receipts, they know where to go, and Frank and Weber follow from a safe distance to get there as well.
Yeah.
So maybe Frank and Weber aren't prepared with the tuxedos, but they're there. Because, it's a nice ball, so you have to wear red clothes.
You have to, maybe they knock 2 guys out and take their tuxedos.
So they're sort of fighting discreetly in the bathrooms and stuff to, because they're all trying to get to the room.
Maybe Frank is because he's a chemist, we've determined he throws some poison in a drink that they're about to drink, and then Mick sees it, slaps it out of Diggs' hands, and then it falls, more poison gets into somebody else's drink, and they drink it and drop dead. I think that would be funny.
That would be funny. At some point, so Art, she's gonna get to the room, but Mix and Diggs, none of them speak German, so they don't know where the hell they're going in this hotel. They know they're supposed to be going somewhere, but they can't read the receipt that well.
Yeah.
And so we're going to have another unsteady alliance between Weber, Frank, Mix, and Diggs, where Weber's going to be like, oh, that says this, because Weber's the only one that speaks German.
Yeah.
Because he's German. And so then they're all going to race to the room, and they get there.
And Art's covered in blood again.
No.
She's like, God damn it.
Art's already there. She finds the symphony, but as she tries to leave, Mix and Diggs find her, and so does Weber and Frank, obviously.
Yeah.
And as they're fighting, random French thugs also show up, who...
the worst kind of
the
thugs.
same kind of looking people. One of the guys is the same guy that Art knocked out earlier, she knocked out earlier, that tried to strangle her with the piano wire.
Yeah, it's the same guy.
From the first episode.
Maybe she left some sort of identifying marker. He's got a metal tooth.
Yeah.
Here now.
Or maybe she used the piano wire on him to knock him out.
Yeah.
And so he's got a line
Oh,
on
that
his
would
neck.
be. Oh, I love one of those big line scars.
Yeah,
on the
because
neck.
she just choked him out. She didn't kill him.
Yeah.
So they're all fighting.
Form third uneasy alliance between.
Sort of uneasy, but then Art ends up away. They all sort of work together a little bit to defeat the French thugs, but the fight doesn't end. It's Art running away and gets away with the symphony.
Yeah.
And so I don't have to talk about the rest of the show, and also because I didn't write it.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of the show is the constant changing of hands of the symphony through all of Europe. So we're going to go to a bunch of different cities.
Ooh, all over Europe?
Mainly moving towards France, though.
Yeah.
And
it's
eventually,
going to end on the Eiffel Tower, right?
No, it ends in a chateau in southern France. Where we get the big reveal, Melody Molin's house, where she reveals she paid all of them to get it, and the thugs to kill them to get it.
Oh
so
my
here's
God.
what happened. First, she paid Weber and Frank to dig it up, right? But then she heard through some credentials that they're not really the best.
Yeah.
And also because was on the Allied side of the war, she thought, well, I'm also going to send
some
Diggs.
good old
I'm going to
boys.
send like some, allies, because she's like, they might try to steal it for their countries, right? They're not going to give it to me.
Yeah.
So she also hired Diggs and Mix to go to the Diggs site. But then she's like, thought about her deal, and she's like, that's not great. I don't really like that deal. So I'm going to hire Art Russo.
The greatest art thief on this side of the Potomac.
And so Art Russo is going to steal it from them before. Then she's thinking Art Russo has a bad reputation. She's heard some stuff. Art Russo might try to steal it for herself. And also she has to pay a ton of money to Art Russo, and she doesn't want to do that.
Yeah.
So she also hires thugs and contacts the Austrian government. So she hires the thugs to kill them and try to pin it on Art Russo, so Art Russo will get arrested by the Austrian government, and she'll get away with the symphony because her thugs.
Yeah.
Got
okay. So this is a whole mastermind situation.
Whole mastermind, but it's not really a mastermind situation. It's like consecutive mess ups that lead to this huge convoluted scheme by Melody Molin to get the symphony so that she doesn't have to pay anyone too much money, and she gets to keep it for herself for all time and give it to her kids or whatever she wants to do.
Yeah.
And no one will steal it along
No
the way.
one will steal it. She can pass it down her family, and she can be a total asshole about it.
Yep.
Yep.
And so she's got all these thugs. It's this big, brawl or I don't really know how I want to do it at the end, but essentially it's going to end with
a big fist
Diggs,
fight.
Mix, Weber, Frank, and Art are defeated. She's got too many people. She's got too much money.
Yeah.
They're not going to be able to take it from her. She's got it.
And Vienna comes in.
And they see the hopelessness of it, and they're sort of resigned, like she's going to keep it forever. And before they leave, she's like, I'm going to let you see it, because, I want to rub it in your face.
Yeah.
And so first, Weber and Frank go up, and they look at it. And the camera will be on Mix and Diggs, and Diggs, when they're, like, just hanging out in the outside room, like, waiting to go in. They're all sad. I forgot to mention also that at this point, Art, Mix, and Diggs are sort of working together.
Yeah, they're a trio.
Because, we got the American and the Brit, all same side of the war, also two Americans, so they probably can relate.
And it's Margot Robbie, Christian Bale, and
John David Washington, who are the three main people in Amsterdam,
that's what I
all
thought.
Connected to the beginning.
This is a better
genesis
show
of this idea.
than Amsterdam.
Was a movie.
Was a film.
I could probably make this a new movie.
Yeah,
Just
probably.
gotta change some stuff around. Anyways, so they're working together now. They find out that they already found out that she didn't kill Marie, and they're waiting outside. They're talking like all sad because they're not going to get any money. That she's going to keep the thing forever, and there's nothing they can do about it. And maybe Margot Robbie, she's trying to like rationalize, like maybe she can steal it from her or something. Like they're trying to come up with some sort of plan.
Yeah.
And as they're talking, Weber and Frank come sprinting out of the room that they were just in, like running out in the street, and they're like, "Where the hell are they going? Like, what did they see that makes them like this?" And that's when Diggs and Mix are like, "All right, we'll go see it now." And Margot Robbie, Art doesn't want to go in because she's like, "I don't even care anymore. I don't want to. I'm done with this.
I'm gonna see it pretty soon when I steal it back because I'm an asshole."
Yeah. And then they come sprinting out, and she runs after them. She's like, "What the hell? Why are you running?" And she's like, "That's not it. They're like, "That's not it. That's not the symphony." He's like, "What do you mean it's not the symphony?" And that's some other dude named Motzart. That's not the Motzart.
That's not Mozart.
And so
fuck.
The show ends with all of them running out. They didn't tell Melody, obviously. She thinks this is the symphony.
Yeah.
And they're running out like, what do you mean? You saw this. You know this is it. And he's like, well, I never ever actually got like a really good look at it.
Yeah.
I just saw the manuscript. We were gonna go check it and clean it up in the morning. I wasn't entirely sure.
Yeah, you stole it by then. It was a whole shit show.
And Art's like, where the hell is it then? And they're like, it's still in Salzburg. That's where freaking Weber and Max or Frank are running right now. It's still in Salzburg. It's in the dig site. I pulled this from a filing cabinet. It's one over from this one. We gotta get to Salzburg like right now.
Yeah.
To get it before, they do.
Mm-hmm.
And so the show ends with all of them running from her chateau in France.
Yeah.
From Melody's chateau in France, like trying to get back to Salzburg.
That's fun.
To get the symphony.
I like that a lot.
I thought it was so funny. I get that idea at the beginning. I was like, it's got to be the wrong symphony.
Yeah.
The whole time.
Oh yeah, of course.
All this fighting, it's got to be
you
for the
never
wrong thing.
said it was the symphony. Like I noticed that you only ever said it looked like a symphony.
Yeah, and the point is that throughout like the whole show, there's never going to be a point where either Diggs or Weber have the symphony.
Mm-hmm.
It will always be like Mix has it, or Frank has it,
yeah,
or Art has it, or the Thugs have it,
yeah,
or Vienna has it.
Yeah, exactly. They're all a bunch of rubes. They don't know. They're stupid.
Yeah, they don't know. Like they can't tell. And so it ends with them all running from the chateau to get back to Salzburg.
I love that ending. And no one's dead. No one gets crushed by a bus.
No Taylor Swift getting hit by a bus.
Yeah. She's the main bad guy.
Taylor Swift, yeah, she's Melody.
Yeah. Huh. All right. Well, thank you everyone for listening to the latest episode of the Very Reasonable Pilots podcast. Salzburg. I like it a lot. It's fun. It's a fun mystery, lighthearted adventure series. Seems like a little bit of Indiana Jones, a little bit of what's it called, Mr. Murder on the Orient Express?
Yeah.
A little bit of that. I like it. It's fun. And thank you all for listening. If you like what you heard here and you want to hear more, please give us a like, follow, subscribe, tell us your friends, tell your family, and tell us whether you like the in-person recording more or the digital recording more.
Well, it probably sounds worse. So.
It probably sounds worse, but the banter's different, so we want to know.
I mean, it is certainly a lot easier to make some banter.
To do a joke or two.
Yep.
All right, well, thank you all for listening, and goodbye.
Bye.